This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Good morning. I'm Lauren Casey. The time right now is 4:27 here. It is Monday morning. I hope you had a wonderful Easter weekend at home. We do want to get to our top stories as we start a brand new work week here on Good Morning Indiana. The first one is a construction project that's going to start today. INDOT knows that we have way less traffic on the roads right now with the stay-at-home order. So this is a project that was supposed to happen later in the summer. They are moving it up to start today with the reduced traffic. So this is going to impact drivers on the east side here in Indianapolis. Eastbound lanes of I-70 will close this morning between the North Split downtown all the way over to 465 on the east side. That entire eastbound stretch again, all lanes will be blocked. This project's set to last for 30 days as they work on those lanes, and then they're going to be closing the westbound direction this month as well, and we'll keep you updated on that when that goes into effect. Detours posted on the IndyChannel.com. We do know it is a Storm Team 6 alert day, so we want to go to Todd Clausen, who is reporting from home this morning. Todd, we know it's going to be windy out there.
Yeah, you know, this wind is going to come in really, really strong when this front does come through, Lauren. Right now, it's still pretty calm out there. Temperatures are in the 50s. There's a few spotty showers, but thankfully, we were able to avoid all the severe weather. It's a very active morning, unfortunately, for those in the southeastern portion of the United States. So as we work our way throughout the day today, what we're going to deal with is going to be the gusty winds across the area. These winds will be gusting up to about 50 miles per hour at times as they come through. At first, there will be a real quick, big-time gust, and then we'll kind of just be dealing with persistent, strong winds throughout the morning and into the afternoon hours. But that's why that wind advisory is in effect for the entire area. It starts here at 5 o'clock this morning, and it will go into the evening hours before those winds finally start to relax. And we'll be able to track these gusty winds across the state for you as it makes its way. It will happen here throughout Good Morning Indiana. So we'll walk you through it hour by hour, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We'll continue to check in with you there. Let's talk about those latest COVID-19 numbers here in the state of Indiana. These are the updates from over the weekend. Of course, at 10 a.m., we'll get an update from today. We know 13 more deaths were reported. That brings our total to 343 for the state. 1,900 positive cases in the state of Indiana with more than 42,000 people being tested. Some new numbers we also know are the number of beds and ventilators available in the state. Really important as we are approaching the peak week as expected. So we'll be keeping you updated on those numbers throughout the show and also throughout the day as they get updated for your Monday. Another story we are following has to do with those stimulus checks. Many of you may have noticed those hit your bank account over the weekend if you use direct deposit to file taxes. We'll tell you what to do or when you can expect those if you haven't seen them yet. That's coming up here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 4:30 on Good Morning Indiana, Metro Police are investigating a deadly pedestrian crash involving an IMPD officer. We'll have the very latest on that investigation. Plus, the North Central High School community is mourning the loss of its athletic director who died from COVID-19. This morning, how his memory is being honored. And the move to feed hungry truck drivers with limited access to food is proving to be a success. We're taking a look at how a temporary program is helping more than just those essential workers. But first here, it is 4:30 on our Monday morning. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. I hope you got outside a little bit this weekend and enjoyed some nice weather we had on Saturday. Todd Clausen is staying by from his house. Todd, I got out and had a nice walk on Saturday. Easter, we did get some pictures before the rain came in. But what can we expect as we have a Storm Team 6 alert day for our Monday?
You know, it's all about the cold front here this morning, Lauren. And as we go throughout the morning, this cold front is going to sweep from west to east across the state. And you can see this map. And I know there's not a lot in the way of numbers showing up right now in central Indiana. But what I want you to focus on here is the contours on the left-hand side of your screen. And then you see the wind gust in Champaign. If you stay with us throughout the morning, we will be able to steadily track these contours, which are the gusty winds from west to east across the state. So while it's very very calm right now. Do not become complacent, as we are going to be dealing with these winds that will be very, very gusty throughout the course of the day today. Now, as far as the wind advisory goes, the wind advisory that is going to be in effect starting here at 5 o'clock this morning and going all the way into the afternoon and evening hours. It is for the entire area that you can see there on your screen. And then as far as the rain goes, there was the potential overnight of a few isolated thunderstorms. Those stayed down to our south, thankfully, here in central Indiana. But all eyes again are on this cold front that is off to our west. You'll get that big gust of wind coming through first, and then we'll kind of deal with scattered showers after that. And of course, we'll be here for you all morning long as these winds really start to pick up. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you are heading out on the roads today. Here's a look north of downtown. Pretty quiet here at I-65 and 30th Street. Traffic is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound at this hour. Taking a look around the metro area, no major issues to point out. Again, we'll be keeping you updated on this I-70 closure. This is the traffic alert you need to keep in mind this morning. Construction on I-70 on the east side starts today. Indiana's stay-at-home order because of the COVID-19 means that roads have far less traffic on them than normal, and that's why INDOT decided to go ahead and move up this massive construction project that's going to affect downtown traffic and east side traffic. Officials say that traffic volume has fallen actually by 40% since that stay-at-home order took effect, so they're hoping to get the project done before heavier traffic resumes. I-70 eastbound between the North Split and I-465, this area will be closed for up to 30 days. Starting April 23rd, the westbound lanes opposite direction of I-70, that's going to shut down between 465 and the North Split. This means that we have major detours through the city. We also have all of those posted for you on our website, theindychannel.com. This change goes into effect today, though, so keep that in mind for your commute. A new from overnight, a man is dead after being hit by an IMPD patrol car. This all happened around 11 o'clock last night on the southwest side of town near South Lyndhurst Drive and Kentucky Avenue. We're told that the officer was on his patrol beat driving north when he hit a male victim. The officer tried to first give the first aid to the victim, but the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators say poor lighting and the weather may have played a part in that crash.
It's a very dark area, and of course, you know, with storms and cloud cover makes it the natural light none.
As protocol, the officer was taken to get a blood test. Police are still working to learn more about what happened here. Stadium lights at North Central High School shining bright overnight, a tribute to the athletic director, Paul Logan, who lost his battle with COVID-19 on Sunday. Logan was part of the Washington Township family since 1988 and became athletic director at North Central in 2014. During his 31 years at the school, Logan held many positions, including teacher and coach. The district says his competitive, passionate, and hardworking spirit made him loved by staff and parents.
He was a really happy, really funny guy, and he made sure he signed every athlete individually when they went off to college. If you didn't go to college, he still encouraged you for your sports career. He was just a really great guy.
He had a huge impact on the school, but he was so nice, and he loved the students here so much. They were his family.
North Central wants parents to know that students can reach out to their counselors via email if they're having a tough time with this news. We have more tributes, including a video message from students up right now on the RTV6 mobile app. Meanwhile, Indianapolis native Kenny Babyface Edmonds says he's recovering after testing positive for COVID-19. In a tweet, the singer, who turned 62 on Friday, thanked everyone for their birthday wishes, but urged them to stay at home. He says he feels blessed to celebrate another birthday as he recovers. Babyface says it's an incredibly scary thing to go through, but he's happy to report that he and his family are on their way back to full health. Taking a look now at COVID-19 numbers in our state, the health department reported 13 more deaths over the weekend, and that brings the total to 343. This is a look at the updated dashboard. It shows that more than 7,900 positive COVID-19 cases are in our state. More than 42,000 people have been tested positive for COVID-19, and we're able to see the amount of ventilators and ICU beds available. That information is really important as we near what's supposed to be our peak week for COVID-19. We expect another update from state leaders this afternoon. As the country battles COVID-19, New York may be seeing its death curve flattening, though those numbers are still staggering and new hotspots seem to be popping up in other states. This is another fight about the Trump administration's preparedness is unfolding in the nation's capital. ABC's Alex Brochet has more right now from Washington.
This morning on the front lines, the newest crop of medical workers are ready for battle.
It wasn't an easy decision for everybody, but for me, it was the right thing to do. So,
Rebecca Noonan, now a doctor, chose to graduate from medical school 1 month early. She will join the fight in New York City, where the hospitalization rate is dropping, but the crisis is far from over. New York State's coronavirus death rate has been in the high 700s for the last several days.
That's the so-called flattening of the curve. It has been flattening, but flattening at a terribly high level.
Across the country, other hot zones are emerging. In Pennsylvania, the governor now predicting a surge in cases this week. Cases in Texas already surging. The governor there considering opening some businesses next week despite caution from public health officials. Several governors have been critical of the federal response, and a coronavirus task force health expert admits government inaction may have cost American lives.
That if you had a process that was ongoing and you started mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives. Obviously, no one is going to deny that. But what goes into those kinds of decisions is complicated.
The New York Times reports in a February 21st coronavirus task force meeting attended by Fauci and Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar, it was decided they would soon need to move towards aggressive social distancing. By this point, China had at least 75,000 cases and northern Italy was closing public spaces. But the president did not announce those measures until more than 3 weeks later. During that time, the number of known U.S. coronavirus cases surging from 15 to over 4,000. The White House responding, saying President Trump took bold action to protect Americans and unleash the full power of the federal government to curb the spread of the virus. And overnight, the president continuing to defend his response, calling that New York Times report fake news. He also retweeted a message critical of Dr. Fauci that ended with the words, "Time to #fire Fauci." Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
You may want to check your bank account. The IRS says it made the initial wave of stimulus payments and direct deposits will continue over the next several days. The agency is starting with people who have provided banking information while filing their taxes the past few years. People who have not used direct deposits will get checks by mail. That could take a few weeks, even months. A reminder, only people under the income limit are eligible for this money. The single filers, that is $75,000 per year, they get $1,200 check. Joint filers who made less than a combined $150,000 last year will get $2,400. Well, starting tomorrow, Fresh Market will require customers to wear masks when entering the store. In central Indiana, there are 2 Fresh Market locations. One's in Broad Ripple, one's in Carmel. We actually also have one down on the south side. The same rule applies to team members as well. In a statement, the store says that the move is, quote, to help keep our community safe during this time. The store also says the requirement is in accordance with the latest CDC recommendations. They provide a link to the CDC's website that has instructions on how to make a face mask at home. Some retailers are loosening their return policies. Apple is now giving customers 14 days from whenever its stores reopen to return items. Target won't take any in-store returns until at least April 16th. After that, they'll give customers 3 weeks to bring items purchased before then in the store. Kohl's and Macy's are extending their already huge return windows. Kohl's customers have 180 days, but for the first 30 days after they reopen, they'll take items purchased outside of that time frame as well. Macy's is giving customers 120 days on most items. Indiana's plan to feed hungry truckers is already proving to be a big hit. Last week, the state announced it would allow food trucks to operate at truck stops, giving truck drivers more options to eat as they transport essential items. With permission from the Federal Highway Administration, INDOT is allowing 2 food trucks to operate at the 28 rest stops in the state. They can be open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And the move is not just beneficial for truck drivers. Co-owner of Guac Box, Matt Bestich, says that this also benefits food truck owners who are having a difficult time through all of this.
The social distancing has really affected our normal everyday lives. This is huge for food trucks in general, just to get out there and be able to do this.
Well, state officials say it's first come, first serve opportunity for food trucks interested in a permit. It has already received several applications and approved 6 at last check. At 4:41, let's toss things to Todd for a check of our Storm Team 6 forecast.
All right, Lauren, a cold front is heading our way. That cold front still in eastern Illinois. As it comes through there, there'll be a big gust of wind this morning, followed by very windy conditions that'll persist into the afternoon hours. And if the wind isn't enough, it's going to be driving in colder temperatures. We'll talk all about it in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 4:41. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
DealDealers.com.
This morning, the city of Indianapolis continues to mourn the loss of IMPD officer Brianne Leith. The 24-year-old was shot and killed in the line of duty Thursday while responding to a domestic violence call. That night, the city was lit up blue to honor healthcare workers and first responders on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. The display also took on a new meaning following the loss of Officer Leith. IMPD officer Ron Shelnut produced this powerful video with footage captured the night on Monument Circle. Mayor Joe Hogsett is also giving a tribute to Officer Leith.
Light a candle, say a prayer, hug your family, and in that moment, remember how lucky we are to have brave men and brave women like Officer Leith in our city tonight and every night.
Officer Leith is remembered as a true public servant, described by fellow officers as dedicated and compassionate, a hero who was an example of what IMPD officers should be. Community members wishing to donate in her honor can contribute to the Brianne Leith Memorial Fund by Central Indiana Police Foundation. Light It Blue on Monument Circle will continue each night until Officer Leith is laid to rest. A virtual service for Officer Leith will be held this Thursday, April 16th at 11 a.m. Services will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Due to the current restrictions under the coronavirus, the public will not be able to attend the in-person services, and there will not be any public visitation. Instead, you're invited to participate in a funeral service by watching it online. Officers in attendance will remain in their vehicles to honor Officer Leith prior to the beginning of the service. We'll have more details in the coming days. The man accused of killing Officer Leith and shooting another woman faces murder and attempted murder charges. 27-year-old Elias Dorsey was into custody shortly after the shooting. Investigators say that officers were outside of the apartment when someone shot at them. Officer Leith died at the hospital. The other victim is stable at Methodist Hospital. Right now, we do not know exactly what led to that domestic violence call, but survivors and advocates are raising awareness about the issue. We want to warn you that some of the following images may be disturbing to see. Renita Hills is a survivor of domestic violence. These pictures from the hospital show how close she came to losing her life. Many people don't realize they're in a domestic abuse situation, which can involve emotional, verbal, or financial abuse. Renita says that she's grateful to officers like Officer Leith who risk their lives. She also says many people don't know how hard it is to leave a violent situation.
I'm a survivor myself, so I know that feeling of to be calling and needing help and hoping somebody comes in time. This wonderful, wonderful woman put her life on the line.
Renita's organization, Voice of the Victim, helps survivors get the tools they need to survive, like financial planning and counseling. Advocates say, sadly, stay-at-home orders due to COVID-19 are prompting a surge in domestic violence. The pandemic is causing increased stress, isolation, and financial worries, which are all risk factors for domestic violence. If you or someone you know needs help, you can call the Domestic Violence Hotline. That number is 1-800-332-7385. We also have a link to other resources online right now at theindychannel.com and on the RTV6 app. At 4:48, strong storms pounded the deep south on Sunday, killing at least 6 people in southern Mississippi and damaging up to 300 homes and other buildings in northern Louisiana. At least 3 people were injured when a tornado touched down near Walker-Jefferson County line in Alabama. The storm system, which also tore through Georgia, is now heading up the East Coast, posing a threat all the way to Pennsylvania. Thankfully, Todd, it looks like we avoided some more severe weather here in the state, but it is a Storm Team 6 alert day today.
Yeah, you know, we don't have any threat of storms as far as tornadoes or severe weather goes, but some of these winds from the front passing may get close to where we would be normally for severe weather criteria. So it's a Storm Team 6 alert day, and we're going to get one really big gust of wind when the front passes. You'll notice that, and then once that front passes, it remains windy all the way into the afternoon before things start to subside. 46-mile-per-hour wind gust in Champaign, Illinois at the top of the hour. And you notice that contour, the yellow and the pink, that's starting to creep into central Indiana, and that's the strong wind gust that we'll be dealing with throughout the day. And we'll be able to kind of track those from west to east across the state as we get going. As far as the wind advisory, every single county in the state is under this wind advisory with some gusts around 50 miles per hour possible as we get into the afternoon hours. So not only will this front bring the wind, but it also bring much colder air. We're in the 50s right now, which isn't all that bad, but you notice the blues starting to creep into western portions of the state. Those are temperatures that are in the 40s, and that's where we'll settle in for much of the afternoon and into the evening hours. So this right now is actually the warmest part of the entire day. Storm Team 6 radar was dealing with some showers earlier this morning. You notice a few near Richmond still, and that is just about it. There could be a few sprinkles as the actual front comes through, but no substantial rainfall. As you can see, that rain's kind of drying up as it approaches the state line there with Illinois. So going forward in this forecast, don't be concerned about rain. It's really just about the wind throughout the morning hours, and then throughout the afternoon hours, we should get into some sunshine across the area as those winds start to diminish. So the day will get a little bit better as it goes on. Here are your temperatures hour by hour throughout the course of the morning. We sit in the low 40s. We come up a couple degrees in the afternoon, 43 degrees by 2 p.m. And then by 5 p.m., temperatures are back up to right around 46. But today is going to start a stretch of very chilly weather that's going to be with us throughout this entire week. Tomorrow morning, many locations will be down into the 30s. Everybody, for that matter, will be in the 30s, but some of you will be down below freezing. Peru, about 30 degrees, 31 in Richmond. And then throughout the day tomorrow, it's a dry day as we'll be dealing with partly cloudy skies, but that temperature, that only gets up to right around 47 degrees for your afternoon high. We stay in the 40s throughout this entire week with maybe even some rain and snow showers possible on Thursday. The good news is by the time we get to the weekend, though, we'll kind of snap out of things here and get temperatures back up into the 50s and 60s. But prepare yourself here over the next few hours, Lauren, for some very windy conditions as they start to work in.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's get a look right now at your commute right now on the north side. Very quiet here at I-465. Over the White River, you can see some headlights out there in a distance. Traffic is moving along up to speed, obviously, both eastbound and westbound. We'll keep you updated, though, if there are any delays for your commute. Sports fans dying for televised events got their wishes granted this weekend when ESPN turned a traditional playground game into a competition between pro basketball players. Top stars from the NBA and WNBA went head-to-head in this fierce game of horse. 8 current and former stars are in the competition. Yesterday, Utah Jazz point guard Mike Conley advanced to the semifinals after beating WNBA legend and 2020 Hall of Fame inductee Tamika Catchings. Other stars who advanced include Chauncey Billups, Zach LaVine, and Allie Quigley. The semifinals will air on ESPN Thursday night at 8 o'clock. The event is raising money for charities focused on the coronavirus relief efforts. Miller Lite wants you to tip your bartender even when you can't go to the bar. It's getting things started with a $1 million donation. The beer company tweeted support for this virtual tip jar movement. It's an effort to bolster the bartender emergency assistance program during the coronavirus outbreak. Miller Lite says it wants customers to pitch in too, as restaurants, clubs, and bars need to remain closed due to social distancing. With people all across the globe under those stay-at-home orders, Easter services, they looked a lot different. Coming up, see the special performance one legendary singer put on for audiences all across the world. It is 4:53. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Wars.
Famed Italian opera singer Andrea Bocelli wowed fans around the world on a very unusual Easter Sunday due to the coronavirus pandemic. Like most churches on Sunday, Milan's Duomo was closed to the public, but the tenor took the stage in the iconic cathedral to perform a special audience-free concert. The event was live streamed for fans around the world. Just incredible there, and hopefully, Todd, that lifted people's spirits. The weather here in central Indiana, however, maybe wasn't the best on Easter Sunday, but it wasn't too cold, so we can't complain that much.
Yeah, you know, it was better yesterday on Easter Sunday than it's going to be here throughout much of the week. As you see in your 7-day planning forecast, Lauren, we are going to be running well below normal with low temperatures around freezing, highs only in the 40s this entire week. This is more towards the beginning of March weather than the middle of April. Be aware of the winds today. It's very windy this morning. We'll talk more about those winds and the rest of the 7-day planning forecast throughout the morning right here on Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.